President Biden has announced that Thursday, the 9th of January, will be a national day of mourning. As we've been telling you on Bloomberg, that will include a market closure. Markets will be closed on January 9th with the pomp and circumstance that you would expect surrounding the funeral of a president of the United States in the offing. Plans are already underway right now at the White House for all of this, and we want to bring you to the White House for an update now from Bloomberg's Tyler Kendall. Tyler, what do we know?
Yeah, hey, Joe. As you mentioned, President Biden has ordered an official state funeral for former President Jimmy Carter to take place here in Washington. That will happen on Thursday, January 9th. In a statement last night, President Biden called Carter a, quote, dear friend, adding that he was a man of, quote, great character and courage. Biden was actually one of the first senators to endorse then-candidate Carter's bid for the White House in 1976. He actually retold that moment during remarks last night from St. Croix, where he's vacationing with his family.
When I endorsed him for president, I told him why I was endorsing him, and that it was not only his policies, but his character, his decency, the honor he communicated to everyone.
In a post on Truth Social, President-elect Trump said the challenges Carter faced as president came at a, quote, pivotal time for our country, and he did everything in his power to improve the lives of all Americans. For that, we all owe him a debt of gratitude. Of course, Joe, there were many tribulations during the Carter presidency, from foreign to domestic policy, including economic turmoil marked by a stagnant economy and high inflation. Now, other world leaders have also weighed in. That includes UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, even the Pope, all sending their condolences in statements last night as the news crossed. Now, the Carter Center has said that there will be two public observances, one in Atlanta, of course, the other here in Washington. And as we do await more details of those events, one thing that we are expecting, Joe, is that the flags will fly at half-mast during President-elect Trump's inauguration at the U.S. Capitol on January 20th.
We've had national days of mourning in our recent memory. Of course, Tyler, the deaths of former presidents George H.W. Bush, that was 2018. Jerry Ford, that was 2006. And then, of course, in 2004, I'll never forget the procession in the funeral of Ronald Reagan here in the nation's capital. What will Washington look like this time?
Right. Well, a headline just crossing the terminal in the last hour. President Biden has declared that federal agencies will be closed that day. The federal government shutting down. You mentioned, of course, the stock markets also will not be open on that day. We are expecting there to be a funeral procession. First, though, Jimmy Carter will lie in state in Atlanta, in the Georgia state capitol, over the weekend. His body will then be transported to Washington on Monday, where he then will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol. I've learned that only 12 other presidents have had that honor of lying in state at the U.S. Capitol before his funeral procession to the National Cathedral. We are also expecting, Joe, that President Biden will deliver a eulogy. We are still awaiting word on whether or not President-elect Trump will attend that ceremony.